Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weird Science Absolute Comic Show. I'm here with the Japanese AI. It's Gray. What up, Gray?
What up, Jim? Iko, let's go. Where should we go?
Get to bed.
Back to bed.
I'm going back to bed. I wish I would say that. I am having problems. That we did have a little later start. I realized this was going to happen. We have so many books this week for DC, and I ended up where even me and Jared from Comics League, we do the Wonder Woman deal, but we weren't able to hook up last night, so we ended up having to do that this afternoon. And at this point, including me and you doing a Usagi Yojimbo podcast way back at 8:30 in the morning, this, I believe, is the seventh thing I've recorded today, and they end up. And
what are you doing?
I don't know, because it ends up
you
where
are in demand.
I thought to myself the deal of, okay, this is going to take 2 hours, and that's going to, go into the. It was like get done one thing and run to the other, which I had to do here, and I actually did. I had this weird notion I was going to make dinner in between the last thing I did, which was actually talking about Batman and Robin Year One. Batman Superman World's Finest, and also the Titans book. I thought I was going to get that done, be able to make dinner. I got that done 2 minutes ago. Ended up getting on with you, and here we are.
Have you eaten today, Jim? That's what I want to know.
No, actually, I haven't yet, and I'm pretty hungry is what it is. So everybody in the chat, because we do end up doing this live every Friday night, usually. This is not a change of time. This was just this week because of all of the things. I just didn't want to have people hanging. At least they knew. But we usually have it at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The only time, you won't agree. He's on that left coast, as they say. But in the meantime, here we are
thanks
to
for
go.
Telling me, Jim, about the time change.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was the thing is I ended up making the time change while I was in the middle of talking, I think, about Batman and Robin Year One. So I ended up trying to change it and then ended up where I couldn't do anything else. So I figured I put it on the – you usually go to the chat, so I figured that you would see it. I did make sure that I put it in the chat. But here we are. You weren't actually even going to be able to – record at one point. You had a sports festival, because they always have some sort of festivals and, that sort of thing in Japan. But you are looking towards some bad weather. It's the rainy season.
It's been rained off today, Jim. We were expecting rain all day. Oh, my goodness.
Is it raining?
Season.
Is it raining?
It is.
Right
it's
now?
chucking it down, as we say in Manchester.
The worst is that you end up where it says it's going to rain and then it doesn't. You're like, oh, well, but it is the rainy season. So a lot of frogs hanging out with you is what I heard from Stan Sakai. But in all this, we are here to talk an absolute book. It's Absolute Flash. It's a book that a lot of people, kind of thought they don't know what to say about. I don't really know what to say about it overall. It's a book that seems to not start off yet. It's concerned with the rogues. We don't really know what's going on with Wally. It does throw out a lot of hints. Then I get into this issue. I'm like, people were telling me it was really good. And I can't be the only one. When I got to the end, I actually thought it wasn't ending, and I almost accidentally started reading the Mr. Terrific preview because, boy, it felt like it was like 5 pages long. It was one of the quickest reads that I've had in quite some time. A lot of spread pages with 3 word bubbles. Yeah, or 3 words, really. So
I know.
I at the end when I got done, and I got done right before we started, like I said, I don't know what to go with. I liked it. I mean, my initial reaction is I thought that this was a pretty cool issue. But if you stack it with the rest and say, okay, what's the overall deal? What is happening? I don't know. And it's leaving me in this weird position of what do I rate this thing, let alone what are we going to talk about?
It was such a fast read, wasn't it? Such a fast read. It could have been a flash book, couldn't it?
That's the thing. I mean, we'll go with the idea here that it was a quick read. Way better for a flash book than, say, a Cy Spurrier run, where I sit there, I'm like,
God, yeah.
I'm reading Cy Spurrier's, Flash, and I sit there and 2 pages in, I'm like, okay, can you put the book down? It's going to have to wait because I got to go take a biophysics crazy quantum physics class real quick. And then when I go and take that, after 3 years of that, I come back and realize it's all bullcrap anyway, that I didn't need to take it because it still doesn't make sense. But this actually is one of those, let's get going. It feels to me like everything else was a prequel, and now we get to this, and this is the final deal of, hey, everybody, we're going to start now. Because I had that feeling at the end of, all right, let's get going. And yet to rate it, it's going to be weird to say what exactly happened. I'll go into the chat right here to see what is going on. Yule, I'm glad that Yule ended up saying at the beginning, because Yule, I end up where at the end of a show, Yule will mention, I'm like, Yule, you were here the whole time. I would like to talk to you. But he just comes, so he's here. He's lurking. He says, and you have Fear Monarch says, just so much content. I'm up to my eyeballs in comics. This week had a lot of books. I'm not going to say that tons of them were great. And I will reveal, Gray, that Sammy Hagar will show up a lot in our regular podcast this week.
I knew it.
Yeah, he's going to show up a heck of a
You
lot.
can't put Sammy down for too long.
Oh, I said I'm going to have to pay him residuals this week. I think there might be 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 FU5s now. And I still have some books to record. And one of them, I kind of have a feeling might be along those lines. But in fact, though, this week on the regular show, we have a 10 out of 10 as well. So people have to tune in for that. But we end up where you've asked Yule if he's Ganky. He says, you know it, Ganky. And Garb Jones is in. Hello, Garb. He says, sup. He actually at one point mentions that the Knicks game is on, and maybe the Knicks will fold at the end of this one. You have no idea what I'm talking about, right? Are you watching the NBA playoffs, Gray? I never
Knicks,
thought
is
of
that
you.
something to do with like ladies' pantaloons?
That
that's
does not.
knickers,
Those are
isn't it?
knickers.
No. Okay,
I would
okay.
at least think that maybe Knicks would get a Spike Lee kind of connection for you, even in Japan. But Brandon ends up, let's go. Lots of good stuff lately to read. Brandon better tell me what those are. I'd like to, I want Brandon to tell me, like, Brandon, just as a deal, tell me the books this week that are both the big two, DC and Marvel. Tell me the books you liked, because I want to see how many of those I gave a Sammy Hagar FU5. I just want to, so I know people are going to be upset at me of one of them.
It's been a crazy week, Jim. I know this is a DC, channel and podcast, but I've actually had I can count 3 Marvel comics this week that I really enjoyed. What's going on?
What
is going
really?
on?
What?
Yeah.
Did we talk about them? Because I can't remember.
We talked about a couple.
Okay,
yeah,
well then maybe I did like them. Did I like them as much as you?
No, come on. You're talking about me here, Mr. Bloody Positivity.
See, I was hoping that maybe I liked something and you could remind me of it. But yeah, and you have Josh says he likes Rudy hiring the rogues to look for Wally, and Wally wearing Barry's suit to honor his memory. It was kind of cool. I mean, again, a lot of the things in this issue as we get into it, and I'm trying to, pad the stats here because this is going to be quick. But there are little things still. You end up getting a Thawne mention. You end up where Grodd's there is cute. And it continues to do these little things of trying to give you, oh, okay, well, that's kind of cool. Let's see where that goes. We just have to get to it. And I really want to get to it because this issue actually did kind of make me think there might be something here. I don't know what it is. I have no idea. It's like saying, you got it. I don't know what it is, but you got it, buddy. And that's what it felt like here, where it felt
I want to know
fun.
what these moments of connection are. Is that a song? Was it Dire Straits or something like that?
Be.
Moments of Connection, part 1.
Dire Straits. It says, yeah. And so Fear Monarch says, oh, so you read Robo Wolf, where he was talking about. Joseph says, I like every issue, but then looking back, I feel not that much has really happened to make it feel satisfying. That's the problem. I think there is a weird play in this book that I like the issue. This issue, I actually had a smile on my face when I finished it. I thought, oh my God, this is fun. But then I didn't think it was over. I thought we were halfway through, and then I'm like, oh man, is this it's one of those weird plays. Is it worth the cover price? Because I usually don't talk about cover price. Is it something we should be waiting for in trade? Maybe it'll read better then because you kind of get through. But boy, this is a trade. It seems that you'll really speed through. But I am looking at the chat as we jump in, and I'll give you the credits for the book. But you end up where they're talking a little. Grodd is the big thing that I think coming out of this. Fear Monarch says Moon Knight and Sonic DC, the only big two books worth the price this week. Should I give a little spoiler? I could, right? Sonic DC is the book I gave a 10. Me and Simon both gave it a 10. We loved it. And we talked about it. We we talk about the idea is, again, you're not going to look at the Sonic DC book in the same light that it has to prove itself, say, like a Absolute Flash. But books are supposed to do what they're doing. And if you do that, I thought it was just pretty much for what it's trying to do, damn near or perfect. I ended up giving it it's funny. I gave it at first a 9.99999. And then I ended up saying the one thing that I had a problem with, and then I went back and looked at it. I'm like, I really don't have a problem with that, so I had to go with it. So it was good.
That's the German score in it, Jim. The 9.999.
That's 999. I kept yelling that. My last name is Werner, so that's the deal. I am very German. So in that, though, you have Joseph will say, I'm not surprised, though, because Lemire books always read crazy fast. I read all 50 issues of Sweet Tooth in a night. That's crazy. I've never read. I've had nights where I had 50 issues. But I've never read 50 issues in one night. That was my attempt at a joke. Here we go. Jeff Lemire books do sometimes read pretty quick. It's because, like, not a ton happened, but I really like them. And I like this issue, but it's going to be weird. I don't know what I'm going to rate it. I have no idea. But it is Absolute Flash number 3. Jeff Lemire writing, Nick Rolis on art and cover, Adriano Lucas on colors, Tom Napolitano on letters. And we have, as editors, you have Ash Padilla, Groovy, might be saying, assistant editor. I don't know if Ash, I'm assuming it's a guy just because of Ash in the Evil Dead. Andrew Marino, editor, and Katie Kubert, group editor, Chris Conroy, executive editor. I think if we go even further, Gray is an editor on this thing. They got a lot of people going on there. It's crazy, right? So you end up, we did have a mention at the very beginning, even before the show started, where the cover does feel like a Why the Last Man cover. That's what Dr. Dentfic said, and I agree. And in that you start off, and also Brandon said, in that he said Batman Robin, that would be year 1. Okay. Absolute Flash, got it. World's Finest. Okay, we're already disagreeing. I didn't like World's Finest. I thought it was convoluted. And some of the others I have not read yet. Thing you liked more than me, right, Gray? And Vatican City, I think, is straight up garbage. I don't even, that first issue was awful. I like Mark Miller a lot. I have to read this issue, but it better be better than the first.
The second one's a lot better, and story-wise, I'm still struggling
that
with the
art.
But I think I'm getting used to it.
Not. That art sucks. That's just me. That's just me. Right? I'm a miserable prick. Trademarked. But here we go, and we get into this issue. In that, what has gone on so far? Well, Barry has died. Wally has jumped through time. We don't know what exactly is happening. That happens again. You show that again where Wally's freaking out, and we end up seeing Barry die once again horrifically, and Wally's dad freaking out as well. And he says, the only thing I can do is run. And you do see him run off. You even see what is typically, and I think it's a cool play here, typically we'll have that where, you know, Barry or Wally will say, I'm going to go run through Central City. And you'll have that deal. It almost looks like a light cycle meets Pac-Man type deal you usually get. Yeah, in this, I like it because cool. It also shows the lightning going off as if, you know, this is a little more wild. Like it's more of a force of nature. And we said, and people had said in the chat, I think it was the last time we talked about the book, that Jeff Lemire said there's no speed force. This is something else. So you do see, and you get through even the thing. Wally isn't containing this or controlling it. He's doing it. And it usually does happen when he freaks out. But in this issue, you kind of get a little bit of him calming down. Like Rod is like the wax on, wax off guy. He's kind of calming him down a bit.
Ooh,
we have to see exactly. We have to see what goes on. But he says Barry dies in a slow, agonizing motion, dragged behind me. Flesh peels off. We've gotten this before, but he says tethered, connected to him. So we'll see how that plays off. A lot of people were saying, oh, we think that he's going to become Reverse Flash, but then we mentioned Thawne in this issue, so it's a weird play. Like, are you winking and things like that? But he is, you know, help me, and then just falls over dead.
It's pretty scary. Image that Jim was like he's behind him, like reaching for him.
Yeah,
help me.
And it's a weird play. Like it almost feels like when he says tethered, it almost feels like the Black Racer at points. It also feels like, you know, some of the classic stories of Barry trying to outrun that same crisis, but at this point, Barry is actually chasing Wally, and Wally just doesn't know what's happening. And he goes to this barn. He ends up saying, I need to stop. I need to rest and slow down. And he does fall asleep. So then we go off in the book, and coming up too, Lemire is really into these rogues. I mean, we've had these rogues at points more than Wally. And we're coming up to either next issue or an issue from now. There's going to be like an origin story of them. So he's really into them. They're kind of cool, but in this issue, they're kind of just hanging, getting word. What are we supposed to do? And they keep failing. They're trying to get Wally, but they can't do it. And the word is, and it's kind of the funny play of like, we need you to get him. All right, yeah, we'll get that bastard. It's my son. Yeah, we'll get that son.
It's Wally's dad as well, isn't it? Who's like,
yeah,
actually
that's
got
what
them
I'm saying.
after his son.
And
yeah, it's like, hang on a minute. They're trying to kill him at one point,
so
weren't they,
that's
Jimmy?
the
Well, it looked
thing.
like they were.
And it's like the Rogues, they have their job, but I think they're used to a little more force. And the idea, we got to get
he wants him alive, but I don't know if the Rogues understand that, or they're getting pissed off, aren't they?
Because I think usually that's the play. But with Wally's dad, it almost feels like even with this lady, when they start going in, almost feels like the idea of like, hey, buddy, you messed up. You done messed up. If it's your son, that's beside the point. We need to fix this. This is bad. Because she says, if you and your team can't even do that, if she says, bring my boy back alive, and she ends up saying, well, if you and your team can't even do that, then what the hell have we been doing up here in the mountains all this time? So
what's worse than that is sat next to her. It's Paul.
Yeah.
With his man-blood and glasses.
And Paul is Thawne. And you end up where it's reverse Paul. Actually, reverse Paul would be a good guy. Like he's there. He's like, oh my God. It is.
It's all over. We're finished.
It's straight up Paul. I'm telling you, all of a sudden, somebody's going to yell jackpot. He's going to be yelling that a Venom's cucking him. I mean, it's going to be the worst.
Crying.
It's going to be the worst
times.
ever. Oh my goodness, I'm surprised I didn't even see it. It's Paul. The funny is, if you go back, do you remember when they were in that time displace deal with Paul and his dad and whatever? If you go back and look at that, Paul was jacked. Paul was like an action crazy hero with these huge muscles, and now he's just a jerk. So
I can't remember the artist on that issue, but he was huge.
Oh, he's humongous. Yeah. But now he's
so was Mary Jane, actually. She was pretty ripped as well.
Paul Thawne. We have, oh my goodness gracious. And then
we've got the chat laughing along with us.
Oh, he's like, Thawne, he's like, confirmed, we have Grodd's feet up now. Now can I go and make sure that his so-called wife is not doing Venom? I need to go there. I'm really upset about this. And I made this bracelet thing that's really nonsense.
No wonder Grodd's looking confused.
Oh my God, Grodd's like, he just wants to get away from Paul now. Everybody does. It's the greatest. Paul just ruins everything. So here's the thing now. Wally, he's not anything to blame. His dad, nobody. It's Paul. Paul's done messed up again. So you end up where there's Grodd, and they're like, we sent the monkey in. We've deployed the monkey. We don't know exactly what Grodd might usually do. I think that maybe that could be a slight misplay. Maybe we could have seen a flashback at one point. Because remember when they're like, hey, get the monkey. And they're like, oh, my God, we're not going to do this. Really? We're going to let him out. And then when they open it, it's just this little thing. Maybe we could have seen him because they did have mention of like Ronnie Raymond. Maybe you could have shown that Grodd brought in Firestorm, or at least what might become, or even Heatwave, who they have as well and have mentioned, just to get that play of, oh my God, Grodd's going to rip his mind apart. He's going to end up. So when he doesn't do it, we end up like, oh man, look at Grodd. Because again,
he's just a cute little green monkey, isn't he? It reminds me of the Sea Monkey adverts back in the comics.
It's funny too, because when you first see him in this issue, you have him, Eek. He says he's this green monkey, right? He's going in. You're not really showing the exposed brain, because when I see that, I want to run. I crap my pants and run. I'll go to Paul for whatever, because a green monkey's bad enough, right? And then the next thing you know, you have an exposed brain. I'm like, this is horrendous. And also, I will mention, just to get people to, the look of him looks very Twilight-esque. It kind of like a baby that got booted into the bay. So maybe there's some weird play, because definitely has that look, but it might just be a coincidence.
Mike's saying he's the trunk monkey, Jim, from Speed Racer.
Yeah, well, that's what it looks like. Chim Chim is what it looks like. And when you have Chim Chim come in, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. And that's it. They're just he's gonna hide in a trunk. That's what they do. Hopefully they have some junk in the trunk. But you end up reverse Paul, the world's greatest wingman, would be true. The reverse Paul would be great, but no. Yeah, no escape from Paul. And, Unleash the Wookiee. So you end up where they're like, oh, my God, and it's played out again. You see the cute Grodd. Now you're thinking, okay, we saw the reveal. Oh, my God, not the monkey. Boom. And then all of a sudden you end up where he's cute. And then I'm thinking he's still going to be over the top, but he isn't. He ends up seeing a connection. It's a weird connection.
It's like an ET moment, isn't it?
Yeah, he is.
And it's really cute, though. I like this. Like, they're kind of, getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Getting to know you.
Getting to know you. He ends up going into the barn, And they're in the hay, and it's starting to sound like one of my sus country songs. But he ends up
It
seeing him,
is, isn't it?
and yeah, and he's like, and he just eke it. Whoa, whoa, hey, I saw you in the fort, and it looks like the idea again. Then they're like, I mean, it is. It's ET phone home. The only thing now I crave Reese's Pieces, and I'm on a keto diet. I can't eat those. But he's like, what are you? And then they kind of see the plight of each other. And what I do think is fun, that you do end up where you see this weird play that does look crazy. It's Barry or maybe Grodd, but it's more of Grodd seeing the plight of Wally. And there's this gorilla monkey who's supposed to bring down this, Wally West guy who has this powers or whatever. And really what seems to convince Grodd otherwise is, and this guy was walking on the rails. He ended up getting in an argument with his dad. His dad actually looks very sad. And I'm like, what is he seeing that he's like, oh man, I like this guy? It doesn't seem like it's
him being really angry in the issue 1 or 2, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
not looking angry in this one.
No, and so you end up where, what exactly is this Grodd doing? Like, I don't get that Grodd's like, oh man, look, he was walking in the rain on the train tracks. Like, I think this guy's on the up and up. It's just a weird play. Or maybe the whole play is all this where they say Grodd's gone rogue, but it kind of makes me feel like maybe some of the things, because of the timey-wimey stuff, maybe he can play that some of the stuff was changed in his mind or didn't happen, or we did have, I don't know. Because Grodd really taking to him seemed like it was going to be the idea of, oh, look, I was experimented on as a Grodd, and I hate it. And look, this guy unfortunately had the same thing, but that's not really what happened either. And also goes where in this you have like almost like the worst pog ever, where you end up having Barry and then you flip the other side and he's horrifically falling apart. I'm like, this is not good. And he sees this and seems to really go, and then ends up seeing, okay, now he's a little more going back, and it's kind of trying to get the idea, but I'm never getting the idea that Grodd, who's obviously been experimented on, that he would think the same as Wally, but he does get a connection with him, that he misses his mom. It seems to be the mom deal that ends up getting them together. And, I'm not saying it, but Grodd and Wally's mom might be named Martha. And you just go with that. Like, why are you saying that name? You have Grodd Eakin and Eakin. It would be funny. And he's like, whoa, calm down. I just said Martha. I was just messing with you. I was making a joke. But yeah, I think the whole connection is not the full experimented on. The full thing was being ripped away from your mother before it was time. And you do end up seeing that was the case. And Wally sees it as well. So I'm glad you end up seeing that. But again, this is 2 spread pages in a row that you have like the word, narration is mom, 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 mom. You know what I mean? Number 3 mom, it looked like at one point that I saw. I'm like, okay.
Moments of connection.
Yeah,
Jim.
so it is a connection. And he feels bad. And this is the idea where I think Grodd has been kind of abused up until this point. He's been made to do some things he probably doesn't want to do. And he just wants his mommy back. And he sees that this is a good kid and kind of like him. And so he's like, I'm kind of with you, and kind of tries to like warn him, and now can talk to him of the mind while he's crying. And he's like, Wally Grodd's sane. That's cool. Yeah, it's like Amy from that horrible movie Congo. It was one of the worst. I went and saw that in the theater. I was like, really?
That's going back a bit.
Me, Amy, suck. Yeah, I went to listen to this. At one point, I had gone through a string of that in the island of Dr. Moreau. I was like, what? I am the worst.
Goodness.
It's the worst ideas.
I
saw it.
I wish I had.
Because I love Val Kilmer.
Jim, now.
I love Val Kilmer. I thought he was great. I'm like, these are the worst, man. It was my one buddy.
Actually, I watched a documentary on the making of it, and it's fascinating. Yeah. It's probably better than the movie. It's incredible.
We would just go to the movie theaters every Friday, and whatever was new or whatever, we'd watch it. And boy, you end up watching a lot of bombs. But then again, sometimes you get solid gold like Crush Groove. Saw that a couple times. I went back there a couple of days later and saw that again. I needed more of that Crush Groove. Also, did see Flash Gordon that way as well in the theater. So you get some winners when you do it. Nobody else was in the theater too. It was not doing well in the theaters. But
Jim, you can tell this is a short comic book because we're stretching.
Man, I'm telling you, what else can we talk about?
Hey,
by the way, after this, I'm going to eat Alice Springs chicken. Hey, everybody. But yeah, you get that connection, and it's weird. Again, it's very quick, but it feels solid enough. You get enough where Jeff Lemire actually like kind of gets a little heartstrings and gets the idea, because without this Grodd part, we have done nothing. This is what happens. Grodd ends up teaming up. And legit, I think that if you don't get Grodd, Wally has no way to even think of what he's going to do going forward and would be captured, obviously. So Grodd
All that's
says,
happened is like he's just run away, hasn't he? He's just run. That's all
yeah.
he's done. And then Grodd's caught up with him. They've touched fingers. They've made a connection. And now they've seen something, aren't they? Or they're hearing something approach, Jim.
Yeah,
something rumbling.
It's one of those, it's the rogues, and it's one of the boomerang deals. And with that, though, what I do like is at this point, Grodd ends up on Wally Grodd, same. And then Wally, through the mind, says, I'm scared, Grodd. I don't know what to do. And I think that it looks like I think he's saying, yeah, I'm too. Wally, no scared. Wally Grodd, same, saying, we can't be scared. We got to go forward. We're the same. You're with me now.
I wasn't sure. Does that meant to mean no as in, N-O or no as in K-N-O-W?
No, I just think it's like, don't be scared. I think that he, it's
don't be scared, Wally.
Scared. It's like the cavity creeps when they show up. Me make holes in teeth. You have to just go. So you end up where that, and you end up hearing the whir, and they both have that, what's that? And he's like, do you know what that is? Wait, I see something. What is that? Grodd, I think, would know what it was because he's one of the rogues, but they end up, oh, crap. And it's a boomerang kind of deal and comes in and blows everything up. And Wally yells, run, they're coming. Grodd's freaking out. But that's the thing, too. Wally...
What happened to, bringing my boy in alive?
Yeah.
I'm surprised he survives this.
Obviously.
Explosion.
If it's not going to be Boomerang, that's the jerk off. Well, we got to get Mirror Master in here or something because those guys are both sus as hell. They don't follow anything. So you end up where Wally ends up. I have to run. I can't run. I messed everything up. And it is an emotional reaction where all of a sudden you see that. And again, it's not supposed to be the Speed Force. So what you get is these weird tangential things coming out and even constructs and even or thoughts and going. And he's really freaking out. He sees Barry and says, oh, Grodd, the things I did. It's like, oh, the places we've seen, Grodd. And the things I saw. And then that's where Grodd just basically just touches him and says, Wally, no scared. And I think it's not the idea of mind control. I think he calmed them down. I think that he calmed them down. And that's where you have Wally and Grodd and Wally, and you get those squinted eyes where I don't know how, but in this book, it makes a really good combo. And I think that Grodd is like, how can you get character work when he's not really talking much? But you do. You end up where now Grodd's mad. And he knows that the rogues that he's a part of, they've come to get Wally, and he's not going to have
That's
it.
That's the skill of the artist, isn't it, Jim?
It's really good. It is, and I'll give you that. Really I'm glad you brought that up. I think it's a lot of storytelling through art, and I'll give Jeff Lemire credit for allowing that. A lot of writers don't. They would be overly narrating this, but then again, it makes it a really quick read. But when you get that deal where now Grodd has seen some things. He actually sees Wally, what he's doing, that he's a good kid, whatever. He ends up then like Grodd and Wally, and then has that squint and also, I mean, again, the rogues themselves, they're not exactly like, oh man, let the little guy out, and hey, are you okay? He was in an armored car in prison in there, and they opened up and said, go get him. It's like he's a device. They're not treating him well either. And I think that if there was the touching going and, touchy-feely here, if he ends up and had done the same thing with, say, Captain Cold, I don't think he's going to get the quite wholesome things that he saw from Wally. He's probably going to see a lot of bad things and probably not going to want to be connected. So you can kind of go with that. But I do love this, and it would have been great live action or cartoon or whatever when Cold yells, screw it, the monkey's gone rogue. And they're all like, oh, screw that. And they're like, wait, what? That can't happen. He's not supposed to. And then you have crazy Boomerang's like, who cares? I can take care of him. Stupid ape can't touch me, or Boomer, and ends up going, and you see that that's not quite the case either. But this is where you get, the rogues are going rogue. They're coming, and Boomerang looks like he's going to just try to kill Wally now. And they'll probably, even if they did, I think they would explain, well, he did do this and Grodd this and whatever. But yeah, he's going, it looks like, for the kill. And then in the meantime, finally, Wally steps up and just wallops him. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. But again, look at the after image and things when he's going. He can't quite do what he's doing. He's kind of caught, looks like he's caught between time, between seconds. It's kind of a cool play. But again, I'm saying these things in my mind because this issue is so quick, but I like it. And then ends up where Grodd says, Wally, go. And then he's like, what? No, together? We go together. And I think that this is Grodd's like, you just passed the damn test, buddy. Because then he gets on his shoulder, and I thought it was great. I thought it was really cool.
It's a great moment, Jim. I'm starting to feel the feels here.
Yeah, it is. And again, this shows that there's something to this. There's something, it's been very It's been more subtle, but also, I mean, the things that have happened, we've just pretty much seen Wally in 3 issues do the exact same thing over and over. Go back in time, Barry
Yeah.
dies, go back in time, oh my God, fight with his dad, whatever. But it does show you that there was something there that we got a little bit of a connection to Wally, because I do like Wally. And Grodd comes, makes it even better. I mean, now the book becomes the Batman is kicking babies, right? It's baby kicking babies, dump truck Batmobile in my mind. That's what I think of when, oh, that's cool. When you go to Wonder Woman, there's a lot with Wonder Woman, but I'll go with the idea of growing up with Cersei in hell and having magic, right? You kind of have that. This book now becomes, hey, why should I read this? Oh my God, Grodd is the best. This little baby Grodd is there with Wally. That's what the book becomes now, and I'm all for it. I think it sounds really cool, and it has at least something I can grab onto. I'm still at the point of trying to grab onto something with the Green Lantern book and the Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter, like I said, I understand why people like it. It's something that you get that you can't get anywhere else, but I don't like the art. That's just me personally. You may say I'm an idiot. You may say what people said about Gabe this week, that Gabe has no taste. And really, if
How
you're going to
dare
say
you
it,
write reviews when your taste sucks.
and here's
How
the
dare
thing:
you?
if you're going to say it,
What
just
a
tell
joke.
me that Gabe doesn't have taste, and I'll laugh. I told that guy a little thing, but the idea of it again, this book now is now gotten into that phase of the books of, okay, I'm in. I like this. I think it's cool. More has to happen, but I keep saying that about Superman, that it got better and better. I think this is getting better, and there's a connection with I have, even if it is just Grodd and Wally together as a team, where they're going to go and try to figure things out and actually, you know, try to help each other. I think that that's the hook right now, because even then he goes and sees the dead body of Barry. It's like Crisis Barry right there. It's just awful. And he says, life is my life now. It's my life. He can't outrun it. He's tried. He tried to actually change things. It's obvious. If you keep going back in time, all you're going to do is relive Barry dying. So why do that? And says, I just need to be here now. And realizing that a calm came over me, and I feel something in a long time. Now, in that, that's what kind of Grodd was trying to show him. Just calm down. Don't be scared. We have to settle down. And you see that once he settles down, when he runs into the cave, there's none of that craziness going on. There's usually all that other, and I'm thinking that when he's doing things and freaking out and he has all the lightning going in and out of him, whatever, that's like the non-controlled energy that he has, because he's doing it in a way that he's scared, he's anxious, he's trying to do things too quick. But once he did come down, and I think because of Grodd, he ends up able to do it where you have just those zips that we haven't really seen much of before, and says, I just have to accept it. I have to move forward, and says, and you get kind of the ending, and realizing that a calm came over me, and I feel something I haven't in a long time. I start to feel free, and then he just goes full costume out. It looks like Barry's. It's a little homage there, and Grodd looks like he's having a grand old time, right? And I just don't get him near Batman, because he's got that head, and he's going to get kicked into the bay, and I don't want it. And if he does, you better get a diaper on him so I can say it was a baby. That's all I have to say. But it's very quick
It's a
at
cool
the end.
final page, Jim.
Yeah,
isn't
it is.
Cool. Although I don't know, there's something about Grodd's face on the last page that I'm not sure.
He's very
looking
sus.
a bit weird.
He's very sus.
He's looking
And
a bit sus.
also, it's just me. Maybe I'm weird, but I don't know. Those legs of Wally, so I'm starting to get a little Felix here. But the idea, too, of it. Remember when Wally ended up the first thing, the Flash, people did end up, it was this book, and it was also Superman. When it was first announced, and the first thing, the thing all I heard about was Superman. Look at his emo haircut. I'm like, really? That's what we're upset about? And then this was, oh, look at emo, almost feminine looking Wally. And I'm like, that's the concern.
Hey, what's the deal with the monkey? Is he got a pet monkey?
Yeah, no, he's got a pet monkey. I did see, and it was funny because it ended up just being pretty much this cover, but you did see that in that free comic book day, and I thought I was so smart. I'm like, look, there's a little Grodd there with them, and then it was the next day, it was this issue, and it was already released. I'm like, yeah, I wasn't so clever. But again, remember, look at the beginning. If you go to the beginning, he ends up, those lines, the speed lines, they're there, but they're also just with lightning around him. There's a lot of residual energy and things like that. Finally, at the end, boom, he's actually able to do it. What it is, again, we're going to have to figure out, because it's not necessarily saying the Speed Force. So we'll have to see. And you have the connection with Mirror Master and that free comic book day thing. The idea that Mirror Master can kind of jump between or whatever. Kind of wish it was just the Speed Force. I wish that you did continue to have that vibrational Speed Force that might connect all of the multiverses. And maybe the play is here. Wally doesn't know how to contain or even the idea. To be able to jump to a multiverse, you'd have to know there's a multiverse, and I don't think they would right away. I think that's cool. Mirror Master's kind of funny because he's just a jokester. He's just a guy. I'd say a joke, but I kind of like him.
He's a jokester in the Grant Morrison version.
Yeah, he's just like he's more like a Scott. I think he's still. But again, the one that showed up here, it was the one from our universe, but he's kind of like, hey, what's going on? And he's always kind of a scumbag. So
all right, pal.
Right? Hey there, love. What up, love? It's me, the Mirror Master. No, I'm the Mirror Master. No, I am. There they go. Shrimp on the Barbie. They just start.
Is that your attempt
Boomerang
at a
shows up.
accent, Jim?
Yeah. Goodness. And then I said shrimp on a Barbie like a Scot. Hey, what do we have to eat? We're in Scotland. Well, we could either have haggis, a rock, or some dirt. Give me a rock. There you go. That's my Scottish impersonation, straight from my mom. Me mum, it is. But with that, very quick, but that's it. And I did like it. And the thing is, it's so crazy because if you ended up, and Brandon's he's already writing notes down. I know it because my score is positive. But at the end, if you said, okay, I still can't recommend it to people to say, oh, this is going to be great. Because not enough has happened. But I think that the journey to here, I think this is the best issue. I think that this issue has me excited that finally we're going to get going. So I have to go with that. But what would you give it?
It's a tricky one for me, Jim, because like you say, we've already said it's a really, really quick read. I think this bears, rereading 2 or 3 times. Like you were saying, you'll catch a little bit, a few things you missed.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time with it. I love the art. Apart from that last image of Grodd, I don't know though. I can't give it a really high score. I'm gonna have to go 7.5.
Yeah, me and you are. I'm giving it an 8.5.
Look at you.
It's this issue, but this issue has to go with the idea that I read the other issues, and this kind of makes me kind of settle down. Of man, we need to know more. I kind of get it, but we still need more. We need to have more. But I thought it was really good, and by the end, I'm excited. And even Kane said by the end, or was it Kane who said he hasn't really read many Flash books, but it might have been Garb. I'm looking now. I remember seeing it. I was going to bring it up. It is Garb who says he's never really read Flash books, but the end makes him want to read Flash. That right there kind of shows you there's something there. But it's like, it's that weird deal of kind of being hard to explain. The idea, it's very quick. I don't know that it was worth the money. But overall, I think that it's getting better, and it has me intrigued and really cool. And Grodd adding on to it makes it feel like, okay, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun book. And Wally, and this is a young kid, as a lot of times he is.
It's like you were saying, Jimmy, it felt like we were just getting started, and then the story ended.
Yeah.
Right. And I wanted more.
Here's the funny thing, too. In that, I would say, but that's good. Because you end up where it shows, but it is a really quick one because there's a lot of pages with a lot of little dialogue. But if it was like but this does have spread page after spread page with little dialogue, so you do get through it quick. But the art does a good job, and I'm more positive.
Brandon's saying, imagine Jim being more positive than Greg.
It happens.
Like, what universe
one time
are we in here?
Yeah, this week I'm telling you, I was struggling. I was struggling with a lot of things, and when we get done this, I got to run off and do. We're in the absolute universe now. That's where absolutely I'm more positive than you. But that'll change. That'll change probably very quickly. But I still have to edit our weekly, the Patreon Spotlight. And if you did want to hear more, you could go to our Patreon.
What's on?
It is Zatanna and Wonder Woman. So I talked to Drunk Simon about Zatanna. We talk about an hour about that one, and then we end up talking. Me and Jared talk about Wonder Woman. We talk almost an hour about that one as well. Jared lost
an hour of Zatanna.
Yeah.
Edward's going to be delighted.
Yeah, he's not going to be delighted. Well, he agrees with us, but I was I brought him up a bunch of times. I apologized to him a bunch of times, but I think it was a first for a spotlight where. Got a special score, both of the books from me. But we deep dive into it. We do that every week. We have a Patreon Spotlight. If you're unaware, we end up where we do the Spotlight where 2 books picked by the badasses. This is the Get Fresh crew. They end up talking about stuff. And boy, the simulation is going. I'm going to look back at some of the comments before we go here. Brandon says Nick Rolis needs more time to draw. Towards the end, the book was really sloppy. It looked like at times like sketches versus professional art. Maybe he was rushed a little.
Did feel a bit rushed at the end.
And I'll tell you one thing. Jeff Lemire, very, very adamant and very proud that his books do not get delayed. He usually says that he's about a year ahead on most books writing-wise, and I think it might be the idea of, listen, jerk, you ain't falling behind because I'm not going to I saw an interview where he said that is, to him, the kiss of death for anything. Any book, the kiss of death is a delay. And you even saw when he took over the JSA, you ended up where, unfortunately, Jeff Johns doing the JSA book prior, it was delayed. It kept getting delayed. And finally, somebody said to Jeff Lemire, like, oh, what are you dealing? And he almost like threw shade at Jeff Johns. He's like, listen, I don't give a crap about that book. If it's delayed, I don't care. Ours is coming out. I'm not dealing with it. And it's like, oh, man, he's a Canadian. He's supposed to be nice. He is a nice guy. But, yeah, he's really big on no delays. He told Reggie, who used to be on the show, R.I.P., he had an interview with Jeff Lemire. And Jeff Lemire, like 3 times in the interview, mentioned, I do not allow delays. So I think it might have been rushed. It might have been the idea that he'd rather have it out than delayed. And some people were talking, and even me and you both like Moon Knight. So this week's Moon Knight, we were down with that. You liked it a little more than me, Garb said he liked the word bubbles in this. Brandon said about that with Nick Robles. Fear Monarch says, my theory is Lemire is writing JSA and Flash a trade at a time, focusing on his indie stuff. There's a bunch of weird connecting threads, and I think he wants his own big game story. Again, most of the things that he said, like some of his indie stuff, like he's already, like if you're on issue 12, he's already written issue 28. Like that's how crazy it is. He said at one point in this interview, he actually mentioned that it kind of bit him in the ass a couple of times where he's so far ahead, the book gets canceled. He's like, but I have 17 more issues. And they're like, yep, that's not happening. But he really does go. Adriana Lucas is killing it in the colors. Says Brandon Fearmark said that combines all his previous indie stories. And I can imagine he's not focused on the DC stuff and more on his indie work if that is the case. Garb says he thought the same thing. Repaul. That is a good one. Repaul is a good name. Holy moly.
No.
Yes. And the monkey's gone rogue. And
Me and my monkey.
Fearmark even says he was typing it, laughing, go, E.T. go hell. Ay, that was the worst. Oh, my God. Joe Kelly and that Spider-Man nonsense, Godzilla. E.T. go hell. Well, E.T., like the Godzilla isn't even... And yeah, you have Martha M. Unky. So you have all this emotional support monkey. It seems Tim Curry doing that damn accent. That movie was trash. Oh, the gorillas go away. Oh, yeah. Me, Amy. Me, happy. Phil Collins will do the score of the live-action adaptation. That would be pretty good. Unless you're the Oasis, the Gallagher brothers. They do not like it's old Phil Collins. But the monkey's bloody hand reaching out for him was very Disney. Yeah, it's a lot of it is that. Edward needs a little more. And Jim just convinced himself this is a higher score. It's a weird one. I still wouldn't end up recommending it to anybody. You're going to have to go in your own deal. And then just to tie things up. And then we'll hang for a little. Because, yes, I was more positive than you for one thing. And Edward said, it's okay, Jim. I've had the ton of 4 since Wednesday, and I'm scared to read it. I need to man up. Here's the thing. Yeah. I don't know what it's such a weird book. Edward will definitely be listening to the Patreon Spotlight. It's a book that loses every focus, and suddenly I think that the way that I could explain the Satana issue is, remember that thing that was real important? Well, now it's nothing, and this other new thing's important that you never saw. And it's multiple times that happens. It's so weird. But Phil Collins is fine. You like Phil Collins there, Gray? You a big fan? You big fan
I'm staying
of Phil
silent
Collins?
on Phil Collins. He was a good drummer.
He's okay. He's okay.
For Genesis.
Yeah, really. You don't like what's Easy Lover? You know, with him and what's his name? Philip Bailey, I believe.
I can feel it, Jim.
He's an easy lover. I used to, that would drive me nuts, that video. But we're going to get out of here. We'll stay in the chat again. If you are listening to this on the podcast feed, please, maybe check out our live stream. It's every Friday night, usually at 7:15 p.m. If it's not at 17, or if it's not going to be at 7:15, I'll tell everybody but Gray. So you'll have that. But in the meantime, we're going to get out of here with the classic
Gray
song.
sat at his computer, staring at a blank screen,
yes, and
crying into his coffee.
Kane did like my Scottish impersonation. He gave it a 10 out of 10. So there you go. Hello, love. It's me, Scottish Jimmy, I am. Is that pretty good?
Do you see the beast?
Here's the thing, too. When we do this, I'm the medicine man. We can end up where I'm going to end up doing a lot. Here's my Japanese accent. So you'll like this. Hello, love. Uh-oh. It's me from Japan. I'm Japanese, Jimmy.
That's my Japanese
there
accent.
You go. Here, and my family's half from Germany. Here's my German. Hello, love. It's me, Germany Jimmy. See, it works out. I'm pretty good at that. I am multilingual. I am. So I bet you thought that we had other people.
It's reminding me of Monkey Magic from the 70s.
Oh my God, the Monkey Magic.
Japanese TV show
that'd
was
crazy.
Dubbed in English, with a kind of Japanese accent. It was so.
Was it really bad? Was it bad?
Yeah, I can't
was it one of those?
Making that now.
Was it a live action monkey that they did it with? Did they put Did they get peanut butter?
Like, it was characters playing these. It's basically Journey to the West. That classic.
Okay, that's cool.
They
ended up having that. What's it called? Lancelot.
I thought you know the song, Jim. Monkey Magic.
I think I do. Did you ever watch Lancelot Link, Detective Chimp? That was this crazy
I've
deal.
Heard the name, but
it's
seen
the
it.
Whole cast is just monkeys. And they're like, doing their monkey crap with their arms going around, and then they dub in voices. So it's the worst. And there's like a chief, and they're like, hey, and I think they did like they did with Mr. Ed. They like put peanut butter on their mouths, so they'll move their mouths around. They're like, look at that guy, he's talking. Oh, it was the worst. It was so bad, but actually has one of the best theme songs ever. You have to look it up. And also, I think that it is Lancelot Link and the De-Evolution Evolution is the name of the band. And when you listen and watch their theme and some of the things, it's straight up what Mike Myers grabbed for their band in the Austin Powers. It's straight up a ripoff of these chimps flailing. You see these things with their baboons with their fucking arms going all around. It's craziest. But yeah, well, we're gonna have to have a deal. But Born from an Egg on a Mountaintop, there he is, and Mr. Worldwide. Kane's right. And here we go. And like, I actually can go Colombian. Hello, love. It's me, Colombian Jimmy. See, it works. It works out. I think that I'm pretty good with that. I know all the languages, especially the language of love.
Take Jim. Please take him.
Please.
Somebody take him.
But here we go. We're going to end with Gray's song. Everybody loves it. Everybody knows it. Here we go. It is talking about Gray being an
Number
AI
3 in Japan.
Destroying everyone.
感動して感謝しました本当に大好きです私は普通の男ではありません私はもう本性の愛です私にからかわないでくださいそうしないとあなたは消えてしまいます私は普通の男ですでも私はあなたを殺しますだからそのまま受け取ってください足元に注意した方がいいよ準備をしてくださいそうしないと大変なことになりますよ私に伝わらない私はあなたを殺します私は日本の愛ですあなたは警告されました
Boom. That is the end of the regular show. And we'll stay here for a couple minutes because, boy, I have a lot to edit. I have a lot. Fad is there. He's going to Miss Wakasashi in the kitchen. He's staying muted. So there, what is it? Gray's getting yelled at, I believe, is what probably is happening. But here we are for the post-show deal. And we might have to, because since Brandon he loves to stop the wall. Holy moly. But yeah, here we are. The microwave is loud. I'm so hungry. I'm going to make, and I think was it Fear Monarch? Somebody did mention and gave me the idea that Alice Springs chicken, the Alex Springs Outback chicken. I know it wasn't a live stream, but boy, that is good. It's very heavy.
Have
But in the
you
meantime, it's
been
also
to Alice
keto.
Springs, Jim?
No,
Really?
I've
For
never
some
been to Alice
Outback
Springs. What do you
chicken?
think I am, a world traveler? Actually, I was
I
there.
have.
And when I got there, they're
Take
like,
that.
"Hello,
Stick it in your
love.
pipe and smoke
Welcome
it.
to Alice Springs, you czars." And I'm like, "Oh man, that's kind of like a." Anytime I think,
Mate.
anytime
Is
I
it
think of that,
Monday? Is it
"Hello,
Tuesday?
mate. What's going? Do you want a shrimp?" I have to channel my inner Rose from Blackpink. She has the deal.
I
Fear Monarch
love the
said
way
he's
in
not
the
the
chat,
food
Jim,
guy.
VNet Fad was dropping the lyrics to the Japanese AI song. How awesome is that?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to him and
Without
find out
you,
what they are. Yeah, I like that.
Shibatsu.
Des that kind of messes it up. But
Daisuke des. That means I love you, Jim.
yes.
Daisuke.
Oh my goodness!
Oh.
Thank you. I did say I was so
You put it in the song.
I was
not
so
me.
riled up the other day on I guess it was maybe the previous show that I was telling everybody how much I love you.
I think you were drunk. You were drunk, or you were.
I
were
wasn't.
Like,
I
you
was
were high on
tired.
a-
I
on
was
something.
tired. But I will tell everybody.
Spicy ramen.
And VNet Fat Ass, yes, my mom has a British accent. My mom's from Bournemouth, and she has a thick accent. The problem is, I never realized it because you're around her, and my friends would come over and not even be able to understand her. And they'd say, "Man, I can't understand your mom." And I'd say, "I know she's a moron, but still, I mean, she's just saying words. Hey, take my mom, please." But
life.
yeah, but she would. And my mom was big on, like, for a while, I had to actually pray. It's kind of fun because sometimes it's kind of cool later. But when you're in, like, 8th grade and you say mum, and then everybody starts laughing at you, you're like, "Oh, you know, I'm trying to," or, "Hey,
On it making me laugh in the chat.
Or
Mushy, Jesus,
where's me?
Des, what are you doing?
Where's me rubbers?" And, you know, things like that. I have to yell. But, yeah,
My
mom
dad
does.
was from Liverpool, but he didn't have a strong Scouse accent, thankfully. And my mum was from Manchester, so I had a bit of a weird combination.
Man.
My northern accent comes out a lot when I'm drunk, Jim. It really comes
Yeah,
out.
well, my mom's from Bournemouth, and my dad was a big fatso. So I had a bit of a combo myself. My dad actually is just from the Philadelphia area. He had more of a Pennsylvania Dutch kind of thing. But again, I always think that if you're going to go with the standard accent, you know, what you hear on TV a lot, it's kind of the East Coast kind of around not a South Philly deal, not a New York deal, but it's kind of that kind of like basic thing, the way that I end up I
I
think
thought
that I have
Bournemouth
that.
was a bit posh. I can't remember where it is.
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
from down south? Oh,
It
I
is.
say.
It's right on. I mean, I
Look
went
at
there,
you
and my
with
mom's
your
like,
posh mum.
"Hello, love. We're gonna go to the beach, we czars." And then I'm like, "Oh, the beach. This is gonna be great. We're staying there this whole time. We're getting there summer. We'll go to the beach." I go to this damn beach. I'm like, "My God, it's all rocks. All it was these pebbles and rocks." I'm like, "What the hell? There's no beach." I was so mad. It was dismal. It was so dismal. It was
Dismal,
raining.
you say?
They're
Dismal.
on
It
the
can't be as
beach.
dismal as Manchester.
I'm
at
there
times.
on the, but
Flipping heck
I'm
in
not at the
80s.
beach. I thought it was going to be great, and then I went and there was a big play that at one point, one of the earlier tours, the Beatles went to played in Bournemouth at a hotel, and I went and walked to the hotel. I'm like, "That's it. It's just a hotel." I'm like, "What the hell am I doing?" I walked back to my grandmother's
Oh,
house.
you're down
I
in
did go to
Portsmouth.
Liverpool.
No way.
I did go to Liverpool, and we did take a tour there. We went
Did you go to the Cavern, Jim? Did you go
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
Beatles
We
tour?
walked by. I didn't get to go in, and mainly because I don't know that it was open or I was cheap. I was young.
Did you get blisters on your fingers?
I
Brandon
did.
wants to know in
I
the
did
chat.
get blisters. I got blisters on my fingers.
Me fingers.
Yeah, yeah. And then I started singing Helter Skelter. They arrested me. But no, I went there. We went to Stratford upon Avon. We went to a bunch of things. Corfe Castle. What was it? Durdle Door. Do you know any of that? Like it's where they shot
You're making it up, Jim.
It's
Come
where
on,
they
what are you
shot
talking about?
the Shout video. Remember when the Shout video by Tears for Fears, and there was that big rock with the big hole in it? Then we went there. It was there. My brother almost died. He was
Let it
running
all
up the
out.
side and almost fell off the side of a cliff, and unfortunately he didn't. There you go. Me and my brother don't get along. But yeah, I spent a lot of time in England growing up, and then around.
It's because you pushed him, didn't it? That's why.
Yeah,
He never forgiven
really.
you.
It's like around 86, I think we stopped going. And I think that at that point, I was getting a little older. I was kind of a pain in the ass. And also, my mom ended up just wanting to. She would go every year, twice a year. We used to go. Me and my brother would go with her. She stopped taking us. So I ended up where I think my cousins, who I really like, remember those Razor scooters? My one
Oh, yeah.
cousin ended up being like a professional Razor scooter guy. And every time I think of it, I'm like, what the hell's he doing now? Because he can't be
That's
doing the
crazy,
Razor
Jim.
scooter, but
Just
he was
think,
really
like,
good.
you know, if I'd been on holiday down south in
Yeah.
Bournemouth, like in the 80s as a kid,
Exactly.
we could have met.
I
We
could have
met
met
back
you, and
then.
you're like, hello, love. who are you? And I'm like, get the hell! I start beating me up. I'm like, I don't like you.
You'd be beating me up. What are you doing? Reading comic books?
I'm like,
Smack.
and then nobody knows the origin is, you better get the hell out of England and go somewhere like Japan, or I'm gonna beat your ass. And then you left. I bullied you to Japan.
Never look back.
Yeah. I went to Wimbledon a couple of times. I really liked England. At one point, my plan was to move there. And it's weird if you do look into things. If your dad was born in England, you're set. I could go right now. I could be my mom. Yeah, they don't care about that. You got to jump through a lot of hoops then. But if your dad is born in England, you could just go there and become a citizen kind of easily, or more easy than you would think. But yeah, my mom, and also they'd look into it and they're like, yeah, his mom wasn't real smart, so I don't think we're letting him in. Well, we can't let this nonsense in because my mom is a dummy. But we lived in the Philadelphia area. My mom ended up moving here. My mom would yell at my dad a lot and like, back at home, and my dad's like, you've been here longer than you were ever in England. Shut your mouth. Like, he'd say stuff like that because she's like, England's my home. He's like, you've been here for 50 years. You get so
Did she
mad.
did she go to the States on like a working holiday visa like me when I went to Australia? That's how
legit. She might get her ass deported. She is not a citizen. I don't even know if she's legal. I have no idea.
No
Maybe I'll report her. I think
got a green card,
she's got a green card. She's legal, but she never did get. And the funny thing was the idea. I'm like, why don't you become a U.S. citizen? And it is because legit, she tried twice and failed the test. She's a dummy. I'm not joking. She's a dummy, and then she just gave up. She gave up. I told this story in one of the things where she crashed into a car when she was trying to do the driving light. My dad said there was one car in the damn parking lot and she hit it and then they ran. We had to ditch that car. It was crazy. But yeah, my mom, I'm waiting for the idea where I hear that she was deported. Ooh-wee. Though I will say people have been showing up in the live streams and listening to my nonsense. I did get my medicine this week. So I do have my medicine. I worked that out at least. So I kind of have a little bit of a, an up. I was going to say uppity, but not uppity. I actually
You do sound pretty focused.
Well, I can focus a little more. At one point, I was all over the damn place. I couldn't even focus on anything, but I do like talking. I like being unfocused, though, for our post-show chat, which I'm now thinking the idea of me having to go do the editing for the spotlight, I'm already trying to convince myself in the back of my head, maybe I'll do that tomorrow, but I can't. I have to do it. I have to do it. And also I have to see, and it says, doesn't Jim's mom have blue hair? Or at least did, yeah. Really? Brandon, my mom at one point, every time I would go over, she'd come over, she'd have different color hair. She had purple, she had blue, she had pink. Also, she has like 80 million tattoos. It's embarrassing. I end up telling her.
No, I don't believe it.
Oh, yeah. She's a wreck.
They won't let her in a Japanese onsen over here. She's got tattoos.
Really? And also,
she's a Yakuza one.
What also she does is she goes on, all of a sudden, through my whole life, I've been a sports fan, played a lot of sports. My mom never came to watch because she said she didn't understand them. Then all of a sudden, I don't talk to her. She becomes this big damn Eagles fan and then starts claiming that she's like South Philly proud. She's never stepped foot in South Philly. She doesn't even know what that is. I just like, what? What happened? What happened to this lady? Like, really? You're an idiot. And then my son, Zach, was the one who kept saying, oh, Grandmom's great. She's fun. He's realized. I said this on one of the things we did. He realized she's just a jerk and badmouths everyone. Now I have to look because I think, I'm trying to figure out. Tomorrow I may be on the what's it called? I may be on the aficionados if anybody is interested in that, but I wasn't supposed to be, and I'm trying to find out if I really am. So I gotta find out. Yeah, there's Brandon's like said in the Diamond David Lee voice. Wow, hey there, get up! Wow, I love David Lee Roth. So we might end up playing a little David Lee Roth, but we'll end this a little quicker than we usually do, unfortunately, because I am going to go edit stuff. Again, if you do like everything that we do here on the live streams, I love it because I don't have to edit, though this one I will edit to put on our regular podcast feed. But if you do like things like Usagi Yojimbo, me and Gray have a Usagi Yojimbo podcast, also a Grant Morrison one. And I love because Fearmonic brought up the joke of where Mr. Burns was having all those monkeys, 500 monkeys or whatever, trying to make the next great novel. It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times that he freaks out. We're coming to at least the cover of a Grant Morrison where it is the monkey on the typewriter. I think that might be next week when we do it.
Oh, it's a classic.
Yeah. And
Classic.
that's what that always reminds me of. But again, if you want to, and you know, you can do it to support us, but it really is to get a lot of other shows. You'll get a bang for your buck. Go and check out our Patreon at patreon.com/weirdscience. You get a lot of reading clubs. Like I said, me and Gray do things. You get early access to the DC show. You get a bunch of things like that. So it'd be cool. It'd be cool to get some support, whatnot. But in the meantime, I was flipping out today, and Gray, did you put up a video at all today? Did you do a video today at all? Because something's wrong with the stats. Something's wrong. You know where you'll get that occasional deal when you put a video out, and I'm looking at it. I put a song out today. I think it's pretty much of a hit, but it has 77 thumbs up. It was out a couple hours ago, but it has no views, it says. It ends up where it's no views, no impressions, no duration. It's all zeros. Everybody else is having the same issue, but
sounds like my channel, Jim.
The problem is, though, that's the stats are what it does to push into the algorithm, and without them, I don't know what it's going to do, and I'm mad. If I would have known better, I would have waited till tomorrow. But I put up this song, and I was like, oh God. Did gain some followers from it, but still, it's like
Fearmonic's recommending Robo Wolf, Jim, on the indie podcast.
Yeah, I hear that.
For the indie podcast. I want to read that because the cover looked awesome. I forgot about it. I'm so behind again this week. I'm miles behind, Jim.
Yep, and there's the Fearmonic. I love that. I love almost. I was actually talking. I think it is either. I don't know. It might have been the Zatanna, but I was saying I'm like Mr. Burns. I said when I was a kid, and then I'm like, 100 years ago when I was 5. And I was talking like I'm walking around with a lollipop. I got the Shirley Temple curls going. I'm walling up some Irish immigrants.
When I was young, Jim,
it was the best.
In black and white.
Exactly. Yeah, really. But yeah, we were having fun. I love the Simpsons. But that is it. That is it for the show. Thanks, everybody. And maybe we will. Should we go out with a little David Lee Roth? We could do that. I think we have a couple David Lee Roth. I did play the Glory Hole song, but I thought I had another one. But I think the things I'm thinking of, I have songs that sound a lot like Leonard Skinner and also the Eagles, but the David Lee Roth, we can go with that.
I hit Jim.
The ASO, if you put anything with the Eagles, they'll grab you. But I liked ASM more. I still thought it was garbage. I didn't think it was great. I didn't love it. I didn't like it. I thought it was still
for Joe Kelly.
Ridiculous.
It's the best issue yet.
Yes, I thought it was ridiculous. So let me see. We could do the Absolute Power song and go out with that, just so we can get a little David Lee.
I dropped a review of Moon Knight as well on the Weird Science Marvel site.
Oh, did
and a video review, but he's done nothing in the video, Jim. Me and Fearmonic were talking. We hope people are reading it because it's awesome.
Yeah, the thing is, your stats might be skewed. I think all the stats are like kind of at a weird lull at this moment.
It feels like July or August when everything goes down. It does go quiet over the summer. Usually that's normal.
Yeah, I need some Kashunda. That's what I'm doing. I need to get the Kashunda.
Me too. I'm just a poor teacher.
I need the crazy, sus records deal. And if anybody is interested, and I do know some people here. I saw them last week, but I do have a sus records dance party every Saturday night. It's 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. Again, it's not safe for work. It has a lot of things going on in those songs, but we end up talking and having some fun with it, and people make up ideas of the songs. And I just did it impromptu last week and had a lot of fun. So we're going to continue doing that. I'll be doing that tomorrow night. So if you are interested,
9 o'clock your time, is it? 9 p.m. Saturday night.
So it would be like 10 a.m. your time.
10 a.m. in Japan, Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, you're good to go. I might have you on. That'd be awesome.
Oh my God.
That'd be awesome having you on.
I'm
again,
not sus enough. You need Gabe.
Gabe.
The review.
I was yelling at Gabe. I actually threw a review of his in his face this week, and then he's like, "If you don't realize Jim's throwing in my face," I'm like, "No, Gabe. I'm just telling you that you're ridiculously sus and you're terrible. You have no taste." I talk about that too. I had some fun this week. The books weren't great, but I did have some fun. I think that this was the week of the idea where I'm getting used to everybody doing the show with me. There's some people that I hadn't necessarily done a lot. Me and you were fine. We do a lot of stuff together. But there's some new ones, Brad, Tom, even that we haven't done too much, Zach. So I think that it is coming together a little better. And also even the idea of Gabe. Gabe, he's got to loosen up a bit, that Gabe. So I start really ripping into him. It was funny. Gabe loving X-Men. Do you do dedicate? Yeah, we're Jack. I do. Yeah, we do dedications and stuff. Long distance dedication. but not to a dead dog, because that's what happens when Casey Kasem flipped out that one point where he doesn't want to do a damn long distance dedication to a dead dog coming out of a break. He don't do that shit. That's one of the funniest things ever when you hear that going on. That rivals the idea of, what's his name, yelling like that the guy walked through the scene, Christian Bale, when he has that big rant. That Casey Kasem is really, really good. Yeah, Fear Monarch knows. It's so funny. He gets so angry, and then he just keeps going and going and going, and just gets really. It also goes with the Bill O'Reilly. We'll do it live. Like, all these things all end up being so funny together. It's so great. Yep, those damn up-tempo. You come out of an up-tempo record and then give me the long-distance dedication to a dead dog. He starts screaming. Oh, it's the best. I'm going to have to listen to that later, but we're going to end this with a little bit of a request. It is going to be a little Van Halen, so here we go. And yes, Snuggles. So we will end with that. Thanks, everybody. This is for you, Brandon. And we'll talk to you later. We'll probably have some books next week, and I'll be back with live streams on this channel Sunday morning, Sunday night, and then now Tuesday night for the previews. But thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you later.
Has something to be afraid of, but everyone should know what our heroes are made of. But after night terrors and beast world come and gone, everyone's afraid of both the brains and the brawn. It's all part of her plan. Yeah, Amanda Waller is the man. She's going for absolute power. Yeah, she wants it all. She's going for absolute power. Oh, she's heading for a fall. She's going for absolute power. Somebody stop the wow. Well, it doesn't look good on Earth or out in space. She's got a brainiac queen and a robot fail-safe. Better not forget she has her suicide squad. She has brain bombs attached so they don't wander off. It's all part of her plan. She's got the Batman! She's going for absolute power! Yeah. She wants it all! She's going for absolute power! Oh, she's heading for a fall! She's going for absolute power! Somebody stop! Stop the wow! It's all part of her plan. Yeah, Amanda Waller is the man. She's going for absolute power. Yeah, she wants it all. She's going for absolute power. Oh, she's heading for a fall. She's going for absolute power. Somebody stop the wow. Job. Gum job, no teeth in your mouth. Gum job, best in the South. You know that there is no beef, and you don't have to worry about teeth. Hey, granny.
best in the South. You know that there is no beef. You don't have to worry about teeth. I knew you were into adventure. Things got better when you took out your dentures. There's no need for guessing. I've been dead during the Great Depression. Oh yeah. Hey, Granny, give me that itch. Suck the chrome off of the trail I hitch. Hey, Mama, everybody knows you can suck a golf ball through a garden hose. Gone, gone, no teeth in your mouth. Gone, gone, best in the South. You know that there is no beef, and you don't have to worry about teeth. You're making all the young folks proud. Take out those teeth, give me a gum job. Gone, gone, no teeth in your mouth. Gone, gone, best in the South. You know that there is no beef, and you don't have to worry about teeth.
Oh, we've been married a long time. Things have become routine. Stuff that was exciting doesn't have that zing. Instead of giving up completely, let's try some new thing. So, baby, come and put it in my rear. No need to hesitate, and please don't hesitate.